This is Adrienne Igo, Capricorntigress, with Astrology, A Look Inside. And today I'm coming with you with a little bit of information about Neptune. Neptune is a very mysterious, nebulous, and confusing planet. Neptune, wherever it falls, makes it a little bit difficult for you to grasp or understand that particular area of life. It may be where you're duped or taken advantage of or disappointed. It is the area of confusion for you. If you have Neptune in the first house, you're most likely confused about your self-image, about your body, about the way you look and appear to others, and how you feel about yourself. Your self-esteem may be a little bit, confused about who you are. If you have Neptune in the second house, it affects your money, your finances, your stability, what you have to give and how you feel about yourself. You might feel a little bit like an imposter when Neptune is in the second house. You're not exactly sure what to give and what you have and what you possess and how to go about getting what it is you want to possess. When Neptune is in the third house, it is affecting your communications, and it makes communicating very difficult. You're often very confusing to understand, and you may find that you have difficulty communicating with your siblings, such as brothers or sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors. I would be extra cautious with driving around the neighborhood if you have Neptune in a third. Neptune in the fourth house affects your family life and your home life. So if Neptune is there, it would indicate an area where there's a great deal of confusion. Maybe you're having some confusion with family members or even children or your parents, perhaps. The fourth house often rules the father, but it can sometimes rule the mother as well. Or it usually rules the mother, but it can sometimes rule the father as well. So definitely keep an eye out on your parents when Neptune is there and make sure that you don't miss any signs. When Neptune is in the fifth house, it affects your children. If you don't have children, it most likely will affect your romance. It might be a time when you can't see your children as they really are or accept them as they really are. It also can be a time when you might get pregnant out of the blue. That is possible because of the state of confusion and not seeing what's before you. It can happen when Neptune hits the fifth house. Also, it is a time when people are often duped or lied to or cheated on in their romances. And this is because Neptune is a great deceptor. It's deception. And when it's in the fifth house, it rules deception in your relationships or more your romances. So this could also mean a secret affair, a hidden affair, something of that nature. Neptune also rules, the fifth house also rules things like games and games of chance, such as the lottery, and just taking gambling is big there. So you might have dreams of winning a lottery or gambling. You might want to be cautious of that as well. Neptune in the sixth house would indicate some confusion in the area of work. And this could be at your actual job where you work at every day. There would be some confusion there, maybe even difficulty speaking or talking with your boss or your employee. So your employer or your employees, that there could be some confusion in that. Neptune also in the 6th house could indicate some confusion with your health, and hypochondria is definitely a possibility when Neptune is down in the 6th house. Also, if you do have any physical ailments, make sure you get a second opinion. Neptune in the 7th house rules your relationships, most likely your marriage or your significant partner. It could also rule your business partnerships, and also enemies. So when Neptune is in the 7th house, you can't see your enemies coming. You can't see them coming. So be extra vigilant. Keep a close eye on those you consider to be your friends. Among them is probably a deception or an illusion, a make-pretend friend. Also, be cautious about relationships, because there is a possibility, again, of deception in the marriage house or the significant partner. So that is important. Also, business partnerships, keep a close eye on that business partner and make sure they don't break that contract. Speaking of contracts, we'll go to the 8th house, and Neptune in the 8th house would rule confusion when it comes to business contracts. Things such as insurance, any kind of policy, or I would say the stock market. Stock market would be 8th house. Anything where you would get dividends or some type of annuity, anything like that. When the 8th house is in that particular house, it makes those things very confusing for you. So I would have a professional handle things like taxes, wills, insurance, all the financial things that you really need. I would make sure I put that into the hands of someone other than myself, just to be on the safe side. It also rules your partner's money, so make sure you have that worked out with your partner as well. Neptune in the 9th house would indicate some confusion with travel. If you are traveling with Neptune in the 9th, make sure that you double check, triple check, quadruple check everything, your reservations, your hotel room, your flight, and be prepared for some confusion along the way. It's very common to have confusion with Neptune is in the 9th house. Also, there could be some confusion with the thought process because it rules the higher learning and the ability to think very maturely on a college level. So when Neptune is there, it could affect the higher learning ability. It also can affect religion, politics. There could be confusion in those areas. So that is education also, any form of education. So keep an eye out for those things when Neptune is transiting the 9th house. Neptune in the 10th house rules confusion with your career. I personally have Neptune in the 10th house, and I wear many hats. None of those hats seem to have a clear picture, and that's what Neptune on the 10th house means. It's a very otherworldly, misty, hazy 10th house or career, and it's hard to put or pin down exactly that person's career or their reputation or their image. They might be actors or artists or musicians or people that change a lot, wear false faces a lot. It's a very mystical place to have Neptune because it's at the very top of the chart, and so it's what most people see or what they think of when they think of you. It's your reputation. So if you have Neptune in the 10th house, be very cautious about things like drugs, Most Neptune 10th houses do like smoking weed or drinking, so be careful with that. Neptune also rules things like photography and artistry, so whatever you can do to be creative with Neptune in the 10th, that's highly recommended. Neptune in the 11th house rules your friendships with groups, associations, communities, things like Facebook and Twitter would probably fall there. Things like the Rotary Club or any type of alumni association. These are all 11th house groups, associations that would be affiliated with the 11th house. The 11th house also rules hopes, wishes, dreams, fantasies, all those dreams of winning the lotto that we thought about down in the 5th house. Might actually come true now that Neptune is in the 11th house. It rules almost the achieving the fantasy when it's in the wishes house. Imagine that. Neptune in the 12th house is in an area where it's at home. But Neptune at home is not necessarily a good thing, because the 12th house is the house of self-undoing. And most people who have a very strong 12th house have issues with drugs and alcohol. Also, there is a possibility of mental instability. Also, issues with prisons and hospitalization. So if you have Neptune there, make sure that you are extra careful about what you're thinking. Maybe keep a journal so that you can keep your thoughts in line and organized. And having your thoughts organized would be a very good thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed Neptune through the houses with Capricorntigress of Astrology, A Look Inside. And I invite you all to visit me at astrologyalookinside.com, and you can find out more. I keep a blog there, as well as I set appointments there, and my appointments are very reasonable. I look forward to speaking with you again. Much love and much light to all. Bye now.